This is what happened to easy Geometry Dash levels. I don't know. I mean, this is like a video that's like 1 or 2 years old, but it's another GD colon video, and I feel like it's even appropriate to this day because of the extreme demon jumping epidemic that is in the GD community right now that I'm also part of. So let's rip it. I'm sure this video will have some fun stuff for us to talk about.
How do you design an easy level for a video game? Seriously.
You make it easy to play and to beat.
Despite the name, it's something that's really hard to get
You're
right.
welcome.
Generally, easy levels show up at the very start of a game in order to teach you how to play it and prepare you for the inevitable difficulty spikes. If you don't get them right, you either won't be prepared for the actual levels, or you'll get stuck before you even reach them. But once you're far enough into a game, easy levels aren't fun anymore. You're too good for them. Of course, they still work really well for narrative purposes or something small like a bonus area, but in general, they exist to get you started. You're not really going back to them. So what about in Geometry Dash? This game has a near infinite number of community-made levels spanning every possible difficulty. And sure enough, this includes easy levels. But unlike other games, there's a reason to check them out. They're short, they give rewards, and it's just fun seeing what creators are making. In fact, a lot of the most liked levels in the game are easy ones thanks to their low barrier to entry. But if you've been playing the game for a while, you might have noticed that something has happened to them. Even though it's the lowest possible difficulty grade, easy levels still require some—
Was he talking about literally easy levels? I thought that he was going to be talking like generally like easy to play levels. Okay, I'm there.
some effort to beat. Like with any level in Geometry Dash, you need to be constantly paying attention and reacting to what's coming up. But as time went on and the game continued to update, this golden rule somehow got lost. Nowadays, a lot of easy levels basically play themselves. Although they look good visually, sections of them are completely empty, and most mistakes made by the player are automatic.
I feel like a lot of specifically easy levels would just be a good opportunity since you can't focus on gameplay difficulty. You would just kind of like make it a deco showcase of like, hey, like look at this like cool deco I made. And so like an auto level makes sense that you would make that pretty much the easiest difficulty.
Automatically correct.
It's more a proof of concept of like, look what I was able to do with like the deco and the level builder more than anything else.
Easy levels have obviously never been about challenging yourself, but when I look back at older ones like Retray, they're so much more fun and engaging compared to modern levels where I just feel bored. This video aims to answer a simple question that's somehow also pretty complicated. What happened?
Sorry, I wasn't making a face because of anything GD Colin said. I made a face because my coffee's kind of gross today.
To start things off, I feel like I should give a quick rundown of Geometry Dash's rating system. If you're new to the game, it's very simple, and if you're an experienced player, you can tell that I'm lying. When uploading a Geometry Dash level, you can request a difficulty from 1 to 10 stars. 2 is the easiest, 10 is the hardest, and 1 means the level plays itself. If your level is good enough,
Oh, there is an auto difficulty. Okay, so that's the frustration he's talking about with easy is like, if you're going to make an auto level, it should just be the auto difficulty.
Will check it out and also request a star rating. From there, the developer, RobTop, has the final say. Once it's been rated, beating the level will reward you with that many stars, which provides an incentive to actually play the level.
Yes!
Usually people have a good idea of how hard each star rating is, so in most cases the difficulty you request will end up being the level's final rating. That being said, difficulty can be pretty subjective at times. Levels might feel easier if you're good at specific game modes, or if you're the one who spent hours actually making the level. Levels get misrated all the time, but unless it's a demon, which is the highest difficulty, it usually doesn't matter. Personally, I think 1 and 2 stars are accurate, 3 and 4 are basically the same, as are 5 to 7, 8 stars are fine, 9 stars—
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they're like in these non-demon ratings in GD, there is a part of me, even when I was a first-time player, when I was first going through the RobTop levels, it did feel a bit like just kind of arbitrary. Like I was like, why do we have all these ratings? It doesn't seem like— and I'm saying as a new player, I'm not saying as someone who has now played a bunch of demons. I'm saying like as a new player, I was like, this seems like a lot.
Stars are usually easy demons, and easy demons are either 9 stars or medium demons, which means that all the real medium demons are late.
Yeah, dude, the disparity of easy demons, when I did top 10 most liked easy demons, like, yeah, that cannot be understated.
Since all the good ones got rated easy instead. Look, I needed at least one hot take for this video. On the other hand, I think everyone can agree that the actual moon difficulties for platformer levels look something like this.
Let's go. Thanks for the 2 months. Appreciate you.
But that's a problem for another day. This video is about classic levels. Anyways, if you look at the breakdown of each star rating, 2 stars—
Oh, wait. Okay. That makes sense. It makes sense that most of them would be mid-range. I mean, that's kind of how a bell curve distribution typically works. I'm actually surprised that, well, I guess if you take the demon part and you add all their percentages together, they become like a bigger kind of, like, I feel like this is a bit misrepresentative, or not misrepresentative, but like if we look at demons as one thing, they would take up a bigger distribution.
Is the least popular difficulty, making up only about 1.6% of rated levels. Yes, there are more completely automatic levels than them. Why is that?
I think the first level I make, chat, is probably going to be an easy level. I think I will probably throw down one spike and call it a day. It's mostly like a mental thing, right? You load up a level and you see one spike jump and you kind of are scared. You're like, oh gosh, what is to come? What can I possibly expect? But mark my words, once you make that one spike jump, you get a star.
Well, like I said before, who wants to play easy levels? Even if you're brand new to the game, you're probably playing the built-in levels, not these ones. And since no one wants to play them, most creators don't want to make them either. They're super limiting design-wise, and there's just not much of
Fun fact, there's a 2-star with only a singular one spike jump. Well, I'm going to give up on everything I've ever cared about because everybody else has ideas before I ever even do them.
a payoff. Let's take a look at a couple examples, and I'll show you what I mean. The most iconic easy level in Geometry Dash is probably Stereo Madness.
Stereo
since
Madness.
It's the first level of the game, and it doubles as a tutorial. There's
Bang.
definitely custom levels that are easier than it, but I think this level sets a good baseline. Notice how everything in this level is very straightforward. Most spikes are pretty easy to dodge, platforms are clearly laid out, and the whole thing is designed in a way where an experienced player can pretty much autopilot through the entire thing. Now, take a look at the first level of Geometry Dash World, Payload, because this level manages to get the exact same
What is Geometry Dash World?
point across in just 20 seconds. Easy spikes, a couple of platforms, and you're good to go. As simple as the level is, there's still constantly stuff
What?
to react to, so you can't look away for too long. But custom
Spin-off?
levels aren't
Oh, maybe we've talked about this before.
meant to be tutorials, so what about some of those? Well, the first user-made 2-star is called Darkness, and it's so old that the ID for the
They misspelled Phoenix.
level is 1729. For reference, we're past 100 million now. As crude as this level is, it still adopts the same simple gameplay style as Stereo Madness, but also uses some later mechanics like orbs and gravity portals since the average player would already be familiar with them. All in all, it's just an easy level, with the hardest move probably being the jump onto this block since you need to eyeball it. The thing about early Geometry Dash is that there was so little to work with that every level pretty much felt exactly the same, especially the 2-star ones. By update 1.9, there were lots of new tools to give your level a personality, and it gave us more interesting 2-star levels like Sonar, which is... this is just a copy of Stereo Madness' gameplay with some new game modes. It's the most downloaded easy level, and I think it leaves a great impression for new players, but there just isn't much to say about it. So let's take a look at Lucid Dream, which released just a few days after 1.9 released. The level had some really cool effects.
Wow, this really shows how much I missed by, like, when I started doing online levels, I was immediately just doing online demons. It never even crossed my mind to do, like, the most popular, like, non-demon online levels. This is actually pretty interesting.
Experts time, and the purpose of the level was clearly to show them off.
I was like, I already went through the non-demon difficulties in the Rob Top levels. I feel like I've seen enough.
Of course, there was still gameplay to go along with it. There's lots of late game mechanics like speed portals and new game modes, but again, it works because this level isn't a tutorial, you know these things already. The whole catch is that the level is just easy. Take this ship part where you simply have to stay high or low depending on where the arrows point, or this ball part where you alternate back and forth. The level has some pretty long pauses between certain jumps, but there's still enough going on for it to keep your attention. As time went on, creators continued to really push what an easy level can be. Retray
I just play the daily every day to see cool online levels. Chat, should I start playing the daily level? Like, I've never done that.
for example, is also less focused on gameplay and instead entertains you with its theming.
That might be a good warm-up.
But it's still a level you need to beat, so there's pits to jump over, gaps to fly through, and a super easy wave part that still requires some navigation. This final UFO part is interesting because it kind of
All right, chat, I'll play the daily level after we finish this video. Sound good?
tricks you into being intimidated by it, but it's actually impossible to die thanks to some invisible slopes. It takes advantage of the song's energy and gives you a chance to feel really cool. I'm sure this won't be problematic
Yeah, I feel like daily would be great for sight reading, and since I grind Bloodbath all the time, I don't get a lot of sight reading practice. Smile.
in the future, right? This takes us to Update 2.0, which added huge things like moving objects, infinite colors, and the ability to make anything invisible. We don't talk about Update 2.0. I repeat,
Did Update 2.0 add pants?
we don't talk about Update 2.0.
And Goombas?
We just don't.
And rainbow colors?
By 2.1, it was clear that easy levels had shifted to be much more decoration focused. And honestly, it was awesome. It gave
Dude, this level looks sick.
players a
I like
reason to
this
check out these
style.
levels even if they were way too good for them. They weren't challenging, but they were still super energetic and fun to power through. They had personality. But as time went on, something
Personality.
happened. As the limits of the game were pushed further and further,
Be my behated.
levels began to look better than they ever had before. But when I would play most 2-star levels, I just felt nothing.
I've beaten B, so I'm allowed to say that.
Suddenly, I didn't want to see what these levels had to offer anymore. It wasn't until now that I finally started getting that feeling of boredom. That feeling when you're well into a video game but get
Dude, I freaking love Super Mario World. God.
presented with something way below your skill level. Something that doesn't innovate in any way and gives you no reason to stick around.
You should def play Super Mario Wave. What's that?
And it's not just me. 2-star levels have had a very noticeable decline in quality, and it's been a constant complaint in the Geometry Dash community. Most notably, the fact that these levels are somehow getting easier and therefore even less fun to play. Levels that request 2 stars are suddenly being rated 3, while the new easy levels are almost fully
It's an insane demon of Sonic Wave? Oh.
the automatic. Now, I obviously didn't want to single out a specific 2-star level and form my opinion around it, so I sat down and played almost 100 of them. That's where all the footage you're seeing comes from. That might sound a bit crazy, and if it doesn't, just know that I was also taking notes on them. But this was actually a good idea because sure enough, I was quick to find a consistent pattern across these levels. Obviously, visuals play a huge role in pretty much every level nowadays, but for this section in particular, I want to focus on what you're actually doing as a player. One of the most interesting things I noticed is actually the song choice for modern easy levels. Out of all the levels I played, about 2/3 of them were slow and very calm. And this is probably because upbeat songs usually call for more energetic gameplay, which is generally reserved for higher
makes sense.
difficulties. So we're left with the opposite. Slow songs with slow movement and very calm design. The whole thing feels kind of sleepy, especially if you're coming from harder, more
Yeah, I guess I've never, since I only play kind of my whole time with Geometry Dash, I've been pushing my limits as a player. So I've kind of been caught up in like the frenetic energy of whatever level I'm playing. I guess the closest level I've had to like that kind of like lower pace vibiness was Lonely Travel, even though that's a medium demon. But when I started to play that, it kind of disengaged me as a player. Even with that being a medium demon, I was like, not for me. Not for me. Good level, not for, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think part of what engages me as a Geometry Dash player is a lot of stuff happening. And maybe that's my ADHD, but I need like a lot of stuff happening and I need to like kind of tense up and be like, oh gosh, if I mess up one click, I go kablooey. You know what I'm saying?
fast-paced levels. Which leads me to my second thing I noticed, lots of downtime. Downtime simply refers to any point in a game where nothing is going on. Something like a loading screen or the camera panning during a cutscene. If making it longer would be annoying, it's probably downtime. In the context of Geometry Dash, downtime is simply when nothing is happening in a level, and in easy levels, there's a lot of it. You'll often
Yeah, I mean, I think I just co-sign this part of the video. I don't like downtime when playing Geometry Dash. I think it's that
jump
simple.
over a spike, then sit and do nothing until the next one appears. Or you'll land on a platform and wait for a while. Or maybe there's a cutscene that feels way longer than it needs to be. In older levels like
And we talked about this recently on stream. It's why I'm not crazy about, I understand the necessity for some mini auto parts to get like the music synced up, but like, it's why like any moment where like I'm not doing something in the level is a moment for like my brain to just freaking completely, sorry, I threw up a little in my mouth just then, is a possibility for my brain to lean out. Like I need constant dopamine flooding my brain, and if I don't, then I will want to do something else.
Sonar, you're always
Yeah, it breaks the
doing
momentum is a good way to
something,
put
but
it.
now there's a lot of time spent waiting, mainly due to the slow songs with long
He threw up thinking about auto blue pads.
pauses
Is
between
funny.
each note. This doesn't ruin a level by any means, and sometimes even helps give it personality. But Geometry Dash is also a game
Like, don't get me wrong, I do think that in levels like those, especially like when they're just like a mini auto section, it can give you like a good chance to like catch your breath, right? Like, I don't think that it's always bad, but certainly like there's an art to it. There's a masterfulness to it, and I think that a very good level creator knows when to put them. For example, I still use this as the example. Dear Nostalgist to date has been one of my favorite levels I've played, which is crazy because, as all you know, I don't typically like longer levels. Dear Nostalgist is an XL, but I think that the build up around, I think 80%, I think, where you're kind of falling down the staircase, that is a very effective use of downtime. But in general, I don't like downtime. I like effective use of downtime. I don't just like downtime for downtime's sake. Does that make sense? Like, I think there can be intentionality behind it.
That's specifically designed to minimize
Yes,
this
exactly.
downtime. It's
when done sparingly to build intensity, I think it's fine.
presented as a very rapid-fire game.
Yeah, and Bloodbath's auto part before Etzer isn't terrible either. Yeah. Exactly. Like, there's ways to do it right. I just don't like it when it's just kind of like for whatever, you know.
And all the built-in levels follow that. It's the reason why you instantly respawn after each attempt instead of having to sit through some long break. So what about when the level actually
Yeah, Dear Nostalgist was one of the first levels I played where I was like, this level is a movie. I love this level.
has obstacles? Well, in easy levels, they're rarely chained. This means that they don't connect or build off each other that much. For example, this spike has no influence on the next one. They aren't connected in any way. Neither are these blocks in something like this. Simply put, you spend a lot of time on the ground as opposed to jumping from platform to platform. But what if a part is more complicated?
Dang, maybe I should play more easier levels. I was just looking back fondly, thinking about Dear Nostalgist, and I was like, yeah. And then I was like, dang, what other like crispy little GD gems am I missing out on because I keep on jumping to harder levels? Something to think about, TJ.
Enter jump indicators. These guys that tell you exactly when to click. You'll find these in a lot of rated levels all the way up to demons, but in easy levels, they're especially excessive.
I'll get around to them.
Sometimes they'll point out
We'll start playing daily levels and we'll start doing fun stuff.
really obvious moves for you, and other times the gameplay is so
But not as,
incredibly
like, the main
vague
thing.
that you actually need them. A lot of art creators will use indicators as an excuse to really camouflage their gameplay with the environment, but it always felt kind of lazy to me. It takes away from the experience of trying to read the level for yourself. More often than not, art levels treat gameplay as an afterthought, and sometimes it actively sabotages the level. This is especially bad.
Okay, I guess that's kind of like what I was talking about earlier in the video where I was like, there are probably levels where they're just trying to showcase their deco and stuff. I guess is that an actual term in the community, art level?
With 2-star levels, because it
That
makes
makes sense.
failing in one almost always feel like the level's fault and not your own. After all, why else would you mess up?
Oh, dude, I think that I played a daily level when I raced Quinn. And I do think that my main problem is what GD Cole was talking. I don't remember what it was, but I remember there was a bit of a spider section. It was a spider and it was like getting caught in the glass and stuff. I wasn't crazy about it. It wasn't easy for me to read for exactly what he's saying here.
On the easiest difficulty in the game. I guess I should also address the flying game modes like Ship and UFO. These sections are often very empty. Enough so that they're interchangeable with any flying mode. Usually you're just flying through the middle the entire time, and more often than not, you can get away with doing nothing at all. In that sense, it's a bit like the first ship part in Stereo Madness, but dumbed down even further. Last but not least, we have the staple
Dude, it's so funny because, like, I don't remember when it was. I think we randomly ripped like a few Rob Top Travel runs like a few weeks ago. And I remember playing through Stereo Madness for the first time, like, since I had basically started playing the game. That ship section feels so much scarier when you're a new player. But once you learn how to straight fly, you're just like, it's so funny
every
to go
modern
back to.
easy level. Let's give it up.
Because yeah, now I see like the video of it and it seems like such like a freaking sandbox section. But I remember being a new player and I was just like, trying to get the ship control.
It's probably the easiest way to get a 2-star rating, and the way it works is extremely simple. Make it so you cannot lose.
It's cool, man.
Yes, there's still some obstacles, but for most accidents, the level will just pull you back up like Lakitu. Take this ship part, for example, where pretty much every right angle has been rounded out with a slope. This means that you can rest on the bottom the entire time because you'll slide up every wall that comes your way. Slopes are a pretty common guardrail simply because you can make it look like part of the gameplay.
I see the vision. When I was a new player, I was so ass. I'm going to push back against that. I'm going to push back. I know that this is a common sentiment and kind of language that we all use as players, but I think that it can be a little non-purposefully exclusionary to newer players. When you were a new player, you were new to the game. You weren't ass. You were new. You didn't understand the game. You had little experience under your belt. Anyone who is starting to play GD today, who's playing on Stereo Madness, you're not ass. You're just new.
But a lot of levels don't even do that. They'll often use these fading slopes that clearly send the message that they're only there to baby you. You might also
I'm not going to save y'all. Fine. If you want to call yourselves ass, call yourselves ass. But I'm never going to call a new player to a game who wants to experience the game at any level and enjoy it. I'm never going to call them ass.
Also see saw blades get covered by them, so touching one simply knocks you around. But if you think that's bad, a lot of levels will make the slopes fully invisible. This is something I've never been able to understand, because if you're making a 2-star level, clarity should be a huge priority. When you do this, it confuses all the new players and makes all the experienced ones feel lied to. Why hide what's in your level when you can make it part of the design? That way, everybody wins. Slopes aren't the only guardrail though. Some levels will give each input a complementary jump pad so that if you don't
slopes are kind of like when you go bowling and you can throw up the freaking rails. You know what I'm saying? Wait, did he already say something like that? If he did, I agree.
The level will do it for you. And other levels will have more subtle rigging, like allowing you to bonk your head or slide.
Sorry, I'm ADHD and I'm like listening to the video, but also responding to chat and trying to change y'all's lives.
On everything in a wave part. What I'm wondering though is why don't levels take more advantage of these guards? If you have a part where you can't die, you can make the section look and feel a lot harder since it's safe anyways.
Was that Christmas theme?
Exactly what Retray does with this UFO part, and it works really nicely as long as it's done in moderation.
Bro, I couldn't do stereo madness like for a week. Ain't I bad? I think that's engagement bait, what we were just talking about, but sometimes chatters type something and I can tell that they're like vying for my attention and they want me to lift them up. And I think that is a little weird, but all the same, I'm going to say that it doesn't matter how long a level takes you, in my opinion. It's not representative of your quality as a player. It's just like, that's why I don't care about attempt count, bro. I like, it's fine if people use attempt count to try and like track their progress or whatever, but I really don't think how long a level takes you matters. Like, I really don't. And I think that there is people over praise and over care for a player's ability to beat a level in like a small amount of attempts in this game or like a small amount of time. Like, I think that's toxic. I think it's bad that people care so much about that. Like, I think the GD community puts the focus on the wrong thing. Like, it doesn't matter, man.
Anyways, thanks to all these strategies, a handful of easy levels only...
Okay, now we're talking about attempts again. I don't really care. I'm not going to talk about it. I am certain of my like opinion on this. I don't care about the discourse around it. Like, I'm trying to help you all have like less of a toxic relationship with the game you play, and I can't save you. So if you want to argue with me about attempts, just know that I refuse to participate. Like, I don't care.
Number of clicks. There's even a level called Closer, which obviously expects you to play it, but there's so many guards in place that it's actually beatable by doing absolutely nothing. Though part of me wants to believe that this level was made as a sort of commentary on easy levels, since it wasn't even requested to be too. So yeah, that's modern 2 stars in a nutshell. Slow song, easy jumps, lots of downtime, and your hand is being firmly held through the entire thing. But if you look at some of the older 2-star levels, it's clear that you never needed any of these to get that rating. All you need to do is make a level that's easy. A level that still requires effort, but not a high skill level. Sonar did it, Dark Paradise did it, so how did we get here in the first place? The naive answer would be that rate standards have changed. Most people say that an old 2-star level would land at 3 or 4 now, because modern ones keep lowering the bar more and more. But I actually disagree with this. The standards have obviously changed a little bit, but I think most of the problem comes from our assumptions. Geometry Dash levels don't just appear. Every single one is made by a real person who made real decisions for real reasons. Every time a level is uploaded on the servers, it means that a creator was motivated enough to finish something that they wanted other people to see. It sounds kind of silly, but think about it. All those 2-star levels that basically play themselves have a lot of decisions that went into them. So why are creators choosing to do this? Well, for one, the style of gameplay in Geometry Dash is constantly evolving. It doesn't make any sense to expect easy levels to play like Stereo Madness because you don't see any harder levels that play like Jumper. Ever since the rise of triggers and the overall stronger focus on visuals, we've totally steered away from this style of traditional gameplay. Now it's about making something that simply feels really nice to play. The gameplay and aesthetics of modern levels complement their songs so much more than old map pack levels ever could, and I'm pretty happy with that. But 2-star levels don't really work well with this formula. The songs are often slow, so the levels feel that way as well. More importantly though, almost every 2-star level is directly requested to be 2 stars. This is kind of obvious, but it means that the creator built the level with the intent of making it easy. You don't just decide that a level will be 2 stars halfway through building, because an easy level needs lots of extra thought and restrictions that you would never worry about otherwise. Problem is, making a good easy level.
But that's my problem. Like, I feel like as a creator, maybe it just like, it comes with having created more levels, but I feel like if someone told me to make a 4-star level, I wouldn't know how the hell to do that. Like, the way that I approach creativity is I go into it with like a bit of an idea of what I want to do, but like I don't want to seal myself down to like one specific thing. So I would really struggle with like, if someone told me make a 4-star level, I would feel restricted to a point where I wouldn't know how to act.
Is hard. Really hard, especially if you're an experienced.
Like, it's like drawing a picture sometimes. Like sometimes you're drawing off of reference, like you're drawing a portrait, and sometimes you're just kind of like, yeah, you're winging it. So like, I don't know.
Player past that skill level.
I like more the idea of like, maybe I'll never get my own level rated, but I like the idea of hopping into making a level and not knowing what it's going to be yet.
You have to really think about every input of the level. So when you're not good at this kind of level design, but still have your heart set on making a 2-star, the natural solution is to make really
You just need to play a lot of them to see what the difficulty slots are. Yeah, I mean, probably.
watered down gameplay with a ton of safeguards.
That's probably part of it.
And that right there is the exact point where the creator goes wrong. The problem is their commitment to making a 2-star level. The idea that getting a higher difficulty rating by accident makes them a failure. So in order to guarantee this rating,
damn, y'all in chat are still talking about attempts. It's crazy.
They play it
like,
really safe. They constantly nerf their gameplay and add guardrails everywhere. As for why people want the ratings so bad, well, people like trying new things. Making a 2-star level can be a fun exercise that lets you approach creating in a totally different way. But in my opinion, if you have to resort to such safe and uninteresting gameplay to get that rating, you didn't do a very good job. So at this point, why not just make an auto level? Well, then the level becomes too boring, because auto levels usually take advantage of the lack of player input in order to do some really cool things. So unless your 2-star level is like 90% focused on the effects and visuals, it's not worth it. Also, some people, me, are too impatient to even sit through an auto level. I only really play them for list rewards, and if I don't find one interesting, it feels like I'm sitting there waiting for an ad to finish. But then,
I mean, yeah, it's like, I think that if you, again, it comes to subjectivity, right? Like there are probably some people, I imagine auto levels are probably very exciting for level creators above like Geometry Dash players, right? Like I could see like someone who's more on the artsy side, like who likes making art levels, they'd be like, wow, look at this new auto level that came out. Oh, that's cool. I can use that. Like they have a different reason for why they're playing them, right? They're not playing them just for like the oohs and ahs. They're playing it because they feel like they're getting something out of it. A Geometry Dash player doesn't get much out of it other than just like simple, like, oh, this looks cool, because like you want to play it. And by definition, you don't get to play an auto level. I don't know. That's at least my perspective. I have no interest in booting up an auto level, and I probably never will.
Does inserting
because I want to get good at the game.
Really mediocre gameplay at the last minute make it any better? Oh, also, I guess we should look at the other end. What about the levels that did put more thought into their gameplay and got rated 3 stars instead of 2? To answer this, I actually decided to take a look at a bunch of these levels.
It's like the reason why a random person goes to a museum versus why an artist goes to the museum are like 2 different reasons, right? Some people go and they're just like, wow, this looks kind of cool. And that's a perfectly fine way to consume something. The way the artist goes to the museum is just like, maybe they have a favorite artist and they want to see like their work and stuff. And they look at their work and they're just like, oh, wow, I see what they did there. And I want to try doing that in my own work. You know, it's all about what someone's intent is, what the framing behind why they're interfacing with the thing is.
Specifically, normal levels that requested 2 stars. And surprisingly, they're not much harder. Most of the time, they tend to be a stereotypical.
If I wanted to watch an artsy GD level, I'd do so on YouTube, not boot up an auto in game. Honestly, that's a fair point too.
2-star level.
But it sounds like you do get some kind of stars or whatever from booting it up as well, which is also just, I don't know. It's definitely weird. Like, don't get me wrong.
Something notably flawed or poorly designed. For example, in this case, the gameplay is super easy, but the visuals are confusing and make it hard to tell where you're supposed to jump. Or here, it looks a lot scarier than it actually is.
Like, honestly, for me, I think that if I was like the showrunner for Geometry Dash, I wouldn't even have auto levels as like a difficulty. I feel like I would have a separate section of Geometry Dash or like an offshoot of the Geometry Dash app called like GD Art or something where all those levels live. I think it's a bit weird to have them live all in the same place. But again, that might just be like my software dev brain. Like, it doesn't make sense to me that it's like in one place.
But there's lots of invisible safeguards and fake obstacles. And sometimes the
If your opinion differs, that's fine.
gameplay is technical enough that it actually warrants being 3 stars. But what about Stereo Madness? That's a pretty technical level and it even has triple spikes. Well, in case you've forgotten, that level isn't even 2 stars. It's 1. But also, this level is meant to teach you how the game works. It's not the same as a custom level, so I don't think it's right to compare it. There's parts that work well as a 2-star and parts that don't, but it was never trying to be one. It's just the first level of the game. You know, I've been talking a lot of crap about easy levels in this video, but I feel the need to point out that they're not all like this. There are plenty of modern 2-star levels that broke the really unfun formula and actually stuck with me. And I want to quickly cover a few because there's one super important thing that they have in common. Have a look.
Autos are just an extra difficulty made for fun. Yes, but if it's in the name, right? It's difficulty. I do think it's weird. Like, I agree with GD Colin's aspect of like, why is the difficulty just how long you can sit to watch it? That's why I think it needs to be its own separate thing. Also, my alarm went off. Remind me I have to go live in 10 minutes. Like, that's why it's weird. Like, I just think it should be its own thing. No, I think I'm right. Honestly, I think that it should have its own section apart from like all the difficulties.
Look at this level, Cloudy by Dan.
I'm gonna be honest.
Or is it D-Hanner? I don't know. This level is absurdly easy, but it's also happy and upbeat.
Yeah, exactly. Like, difficulty doesn't fit an auto level. Like, there is inherently no difficulty. If we're talking about in terms of like literal difficulty, there is no difficulty there is 0 difficulty, therefore you shouldn't be rewarded a star for watching it. That's weird.
Still requires some effort and it's pretty honest with the gameplay. There's no invisible hazards or guardrails.
I might have better perspective on this because I'm still relatively new to Geometry Dash. I just think it makes no sense. I'm going to double down even harder on what I said before. It should be in its own separate section. It shouldn't be like... It shouldn't be listed difficulty-wise.
It's a level that any player can enjoy, and it doesn't feel like it's holding your hand because it's so easy that it doesn't have to. The goal of the level is simply for you to have fun. Here's another one, Space Station by Splinter25, which won Best Easy Level at last year's GD Awards. The theming is incredible, but what sticks out to me even more is the fact that just like Cloudy, the level is honest. It's insanely easy if you put in the effort, but if you choose to stop flying your ship for whatever reason, it's not going to correct you with invisible slopes. You're encouraged to put in a little bit of effort so that you can experience the level in the way the creator intended. Also, there's a triple speed portal and even a dual section, things that many 2-star levels wouldn't even dare to touch unless they're fully auto. Next up is Holder's Heaven by Lisp and some other folks. This level looks insanely difficult, but the gimmick is that all you have to do is hold down the entire time. Whether this should be auto or not is definitely up for debate, and I personally think it should be, but you can't deny that it's super cool. And that's basically the only reason I'm showing it off. It completely challenges the definition of a 2-star level, because it can. Finally, we have Cosmic Dolphin by Manix, made for the Deeper Space project, which consists of some more traditional style levels. Yes, this level is rated 3 stars, but that's because it didn't request a difficulty. I wholeheartedly believe it would have gotten 2 if they pushed for it, but since they didn't, the stereotype got the best of it. This one's just a great level all around. The gameplay is easy but super creative, and as usual, you actually have to participate. Every corner of this level has so much life, and it's what keeps me coming back to it, even if I don't feel any challenge. So what exactly do these levels have in common? Being fun? Because that's kind of...
Did Sputniks make this?
Subjective. No, actually. It's something that's both really subtle, but also something that couldn't be more obvious. These levels have a target audience. What I mean is that these are levels that any player can enjoy. You could be coming from an extreme demon and you won't feel ridiculed by these levels at all. Simply put, the levels don't treat you like you're stupid. They're easy, but they expect you to know how to play the game. They hold the assumption that you already know all the game modes, or how to survive a dual part, or how a dash orb works, because 99% of custom level players do know. Don't get me wrong, new players are definitely at a disadvantage. I'm sure there's lots of stuff in Space Station that would confuse the heck out of them, like these alternating gravity portals or this moving rocket ship. But first of all, you should at least know the very basics from the official levels. And secondly, when you're a beginner, it's okay to take multiple attempts to beat these levels, because that's your current skill level. And with time, you'll get better at the game.
Even if you're not a beginner, attempts don't matter. Sorry, we brought it back to attempts. Dude, I don't get it. Why are we so upset?
Understand that you don't need to rig them so everyone beats it first try.
I could free so many GD players' minds if they simply like didn't care how many attempts a level took them.
It takes away
like literally the rest of your life would feel so easy and breezy.
from the learning experience if you're a beginner, and it feels like an insult to yourself.
Like, can I be honest, chat? If I played an easy level tomorrow and somehow like it took me 1,000,000 attempts to beat that, I wouldn't feel some type of way about it. I just wouldn't.
Still, if you're not. And that right there highlights the #1 problem with most of the easy levels nowadays. The reason people don't enjoy them is because they don't appeal to anybody. There is no audience. Consider this. If a level is filled with slopes and other safeguards to prevent you from dying, you get this feeling that they're there to catch people who aren't as good at the game. After all, they're the ones who are most likely playing the 2-star levels. But if that's who they're building the level for, why do they go on to use such advanced features? They expect you to know all the mechanics and game modes, they expect you to be comfortable upside down, and they go on to do all sorts of unconventional things that make no sense unless you're already used to custom levels. So if the level isn't aimed towards old players, but also isn't aimed towards new players, who does that leave? Well, nobody. Everyone loses. Unless you're only there for the visuals or overall vibe of the level, there's just no point. This all leads to one final question. How do you make a good 2-star level? One
I don't know, man.
that people will enjoy in the moment and maybe even want to replay. The answer is simply to break away from what everyone else is doing. And for those who actually feel like taking a crack at it, here are 10 quick tips that I thought of. But first, let me just... That's Mr. Cologne to you. First off, like I said before, figure out your audience. If you're making a level with new players in mind, try and keep it as straightforward as possible. This means avoiding invisible blocks, custom portals, things like H-blocks, or anything you can't figure out.
I would say that in general though, man. Like I don't know. I've talked about this before. I like straightforward difficulty. I don't think that's just something you should do for an easy level. I don't like fakes. I don't like annoying gimmicky stuff. I just like levels that are intuitive and are honest, like mechanical difficulty for the player regardless of your level. I think those levels are just better on paper. They're just better.
Simply by looking at it. Keep your transitions very simple and leave some time.
I think a level being able to be read and being legible is like my most important diagnostic for whether or not I will enjoy a level.
To play around with any new game modes. On the other hand, if you're making a level for experienced players, well, they already know how everything works, so don't bore them, keep them engaged. Tip number 2, the level doesn't have to be slow. People often pick slow songs because it makes for naturally easy gameplay. After all, calm songs don't really fit into harder levels. I stand corrected. But yeah, this has never been a rule. Look at how levels like Sonar or Retray handle this. Number 3, study the levels you like. Everyone has different taste in levels. Maybe you disagree with everything I've said in this video, and in that case, I don't know why you're still watching, but this tip still applies. Replay those 2 or 3-star levels that stood out for you, figure out why you like them so much, and use it as a starting point for your next project. Number 4, strike a balance with the visuals. If you want to make an easy level, one of the most important factors is clarity. You are free to go as hard as you want on the decorations, in fact I encourage it, but all the solid blocks and hazards need to be as clear as day. There should be no confusion surrounding the hitboxes, and I know that sounds...
I just long for a world where there's clarity in every level in this game though. And there's certainly a lot of the top levels, like there's certainly more like obscuring, like we're supposed to, I mean, even on Grief, right? Like there are parts where you're watching Grief and you're just like, you trust Doggy because he had to learn the clicks, but things are like fully obscured and he's just kind of doing it. I don't like it, man. I think that's a bad direction for the game to go. I'm going to say it. I think that's bad. I think clarity is better for the player and also the Geometry Dash viewer. It makes it better.
Sounds really lame, but if you're seriously going for a 2-star rating, it is a sacrifice you need to make, and it will make your level far more accessible. Tip 5, remember the gameplay. If you're only in it for the visuals or the storytelling, maybe just work on an auto level instead, because people go into levels expecting to play something, and if the gameplay ends up being super mediocre, then it really hurts the experience. The most infamous example of this is probably the Portal Gauntlet. Every level in this gauntlet is a masterpiece, if you're watching them on YouTube. As soon as you're in control, it's hard to focus on anything the creator intended because you're constantly worrying about the tiny obstacles that will kill you and force you to restart the XL level all over again. That's not to say these levels should be auto, I just personally think the gameplay needs to feel a bit more natural so you're not constantly paranoid as I was. Tip number 6, no guardrails. Get them out of here, kill them. If you need to rely on invisible slopes and safe floors and all that stuff, you're basically just admitting that you completely gave up. If for whatever reason you really need them, at the very least, be honest. Don't use these fading blocks, make it look like an intentional part of the level, and make sure you can't pass any flying sections by doing nothing. Make sure you can't stay on the floor or ceiling for too long. Also, if you really want, there are more subtle ways to cheat in favor of the player. You can extend the hitbox.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably a pretty common missed art for a level creator, I'd imagine, is like you get so fixated on how a part of your level is supposed to be cleared, you don't really play test it and realize how it can be cheesed. Like if I had to guess, based off of like no experience really with the level creator or playing many online levels, I feel like that is probably the most common oversight for level creators. Which does break the magic of a level, is when you can just like kind of break it and cheese it, right?
Boxes of some platforms or make orbs.
Like imagine like in, and I guess that also goes to secret ways, but imagine like you're playing a Mario level and you can just kind of like cheese through the level instead of like playing it vanilla.
Larger, but generally you should be honest about these things as well, or restructure your gameplay so you don't have to do it. 7, give your level a personality. All of my favorite 2-star levels have something that really feels unique to them.
True.
Maybe it's a very different gameplay style like Cloudy, or a memorable theme like Retray, or a bit of a story to tell like in Space Station. Lock into something that will make your level feel different in a sea of hundreds of other ones. Something people will remember it for. Number 8, push what it means to be a 2-star level. The only real requirement is that it's a level that requires some player input that almost every experienced player will beat on the first try. Nobody said it has to be conventional. Holder's Heaven technically meets this requirement, and that's why it's rated 2 stars despite looking insane. Another great example is The Spike Is Over There, which only has one click, but the whole joke is that the level is trying to hold your hand by directly talking to you.
Okay, actually, no, wait, I think I actually see a spike this time. No, wait, no.
Nah.
That's not a spike, that's an orb, that's an orb.
And another one I like is Last Punishment, which has an optional challenge of avoiding every mirror portal in the level. Or touching them all if you prefer that.
That's cool.
It manages to completely distract you from what would otherwise be boring gameplay. There are so many ways to make a level feel original without making it harder, so play around. Tip 9, take risks with your gameplay. Yes, it's hard to make an easy level, but you don't have to be in constant fear the entire time. You don't have to nerf everything in your level to guarantee a 2-star rating. If the inputs are easy, it doesn't matter if there's a lot or a few of them, so don't be afraid to make sections that are slightly more involved. Worst case scenario, your level is rated 3 stars, but it's way more enjoyable, and you get an extra star for beating it. I think it's well worth taking that chance, since more often than not, the failed 2 stars are a result of bad design or being far too technical. So at the very least, watch out for that and get some playtesters if you're unsure. I know getting a tester for an easy level sounds ridiculous, but they are there to provide feedback. And my final tip is to just request 2 stars. Maybe your level is actually more like 3, but whatever. Most of the moderators are pretty good at this game, so the jump in difficulty between 2 and 3 stars is really hard to notice unless something sticks out a lot. Unfortunately, I think a lot of levels will still be set for 3 simply because of the stereotype that easy levels need to baby you the entire time. But if you push for it in the level description or find some other way to make it really clear, there's always a chance. So there you have it, my thoughts on 2-star levels, what I think happened to them, and where we can potentially go from here. I want to make it clear that I don't hate the modern ones, I just think we could be doing so much better overall. There is zero reason to be hateful towards any of these levels or their creators, since they're usually just passion projects that they felt like making for fun. I had to record a ton of footage for this video,
oh my
and I don't have
god,
anything against any of the levels I showcased. They're simply there as examples.
dude. GD Colin puts so much effort into his videos, it's crazy.
What I was trying to say. You should know by now that making a 2-star level is hard, so I'm happy for every creator who's willing to take a shot at it, even if they don't get it exactly right. As always, thank you so much for sitting through my little yap session and hearing me out. I love diving into nerdy stuff like this, and I'm happy to do more of it if people are interested. But for now, 2-star levels are still the least common rating in the game, so if you're a creator with some free time on your hands, get out there and make something. After all, it's easy.
Ha 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 ha. Well, I mean, I was a bit baited by the title. I thought that it was going to be about like, or I guess I self-baited. I thought it was going to be about just like generally easier Geometry Dash levels, but it ended up being specifically about 2-star easies. So, I mean, that was pretty cool, but it definitely wasn't what I thought it would be. But maybe it was helpful because I'm planning to make my first Geometry Dash level ever, and maybe I'll make it a 2-star. Stick around. Who knows? But WReact, thanks for watching, and link in the description, join the Discord, go to the React to This Teach channel, and drop videos that you want me to react to, and upvote ones that you see others have posted that you want me to react to. It helps me out a lot. That's the best way to get videos in front of my face and let me know that you want me to watch them. In the meantime, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Did you like that? Don't even pretend like you didn't. You made it that far in the video. Well, did you know that I stream Monday through Friday on Twitch and YouTube, and you could catch me live and get to be a part of the experience when it happens? Also, if you don't care about that, or otherwise you want to see more of the video that you just watched, link in the description to watch the full VOD. Do that, please. I have a black eye because I play basketball sometimes. Bye. Oh,